What the weirdest thing you did while you were high? Freaked out that I'd lost my iPod somewhere on the way to the train station. I got off the train and went back, retracing my steps all the way back to my apartment, only to realize that I was listening to music the whole time, on my iPod. Spent 45 minutes looking for my glasses with my friend. Said duck at BC I had to leave and was now running late. When I went to put on my sunglasses, I smashed them onto my glasses. I had my glasses on my ducking face the whole time and neither myself or my friend noticed. I was on acid at a music festival and asked a cop if he would name a hurricane after me. Fortunately, he thought that was funny. Ordered food for delivery. Forgot. Went to grocery store for stuff to barbecue. Remembered about the food for delivery while paying in line. It's not that weird. But I get really weird sensations when I'm high. Other people probably get it too, but I just don't know how to describe it. But one time I was just rubbing my leg a little because I was cold. And my friend was sitting next to me. So then I was like, well, I can feel my hand and I can feel my leg. I wonder if I can feel hers? So I rubbed her leg and was like, wow, I can't feel it, and I didn't really understand why. My friend just laughed at how stupid I was. LMAO. Eating yogurt with a fork in front of my parents. My dad waited for about 10 minutes to say that a spoon might make it easier. A few years ago I was on shrooms with some friends and we went on a walk to smoke a cig. Every time I took a puff of my cigarette, I was expecting to taste Mountain Dew, and I was disappointed every time that it didn't. I quit smoking cigs a few days after that. I came home crossfade one night. Easily the most intoxicated I'd ever been. I walked into the living room and pushed the TV to the back of the table. Instead of the couch, I sat down where the TV used to be and stared at the couch silently. Alone. And in the pitch black darkness for at least 30 seconds before saying out loud, "So this is what it's like to be a TV?" I realized then I'd had way too much and went to bed before I hurt myself. Completely freaked out because everyone around me was speaking a foreign language and I couldn't understand anything. Note to self, don't get high in a foreign country. Every time I get stoned, I just want to confine myself to the smallest space possible. It's not a fear or anxiety thing. Stoned me genuinely feels more comfortable under a table or bed. Or even inside a cardboard box. This one time, bought fresh fish at the wholesale fish market. When you've been partying all night, until dawn, and you see sober people in action, the fish market is really fascinating. When you wake up the next morning, afternoon, and thirst lets you open the fridge, and you see a load of silvery eels, you cannot really relate to that fascination anymore. I stared at ants outside for a solid hour and a half, just going about their business. I'm not too fond of insects sober, but when I'm high they are so goddamn interesting. I ate mushrooms by myself and some guy dropped off pizza at my house, so I signed for it. Only thing is, I didn't order any pizzas. My boyfriend came home and said, "You ordered pizza." It had been sitting on the table for hours. I thought I dreamt it. Whoops. The guy came to the very wrong house. But I did tip him handsomely, so I did the right thing. I was ducked up looking for my hotel in Atlantic City. Somehow got there and woke up the next morning to just hotel being in the search bar of my Spotify. That was my best effort. Got high in a soccer field after dark. Laying down, looking up at the stars. I suddenly felt the spins so bad that I grabbed onto the grass cause I swear I was going to call off the planet. Years ago, before the internet, was having a panic attack while high. Wanted to connect with the Ask a Nurse hotline, but couldn't remember the number. Kept calling 411 asking them to connect me to 1-800-NURSE-ME. One time my eye was really dry, so I stopped drinking my water and started slowly pouring water into my eye. All of it while I was sitting on my friend's bed, leaving just a bit so I could still have one gulp. I was trying to get food delivered to me, but I just googled the word deliver for 40 minutes. I bought a cowgirl outfit on Amazon and learned to play 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. I'm a guy, by the way. I remember thinking that I was going to be some crazy successful cover artist with that gimmick. The cowgirl outfit doesn't fit BTW. Not even close. The first time I smoked keef was my 21st birthday after already drinking way too much. The fade was so intense that I couldn't walk. My friends put me in my bed, but for some reason I felt the need to not be in my room. So with my non-functioning legs, I crawled on my elbows down the hall and down a staircase to an empty bedroom where I laid on the floor in the dark for 30 minutes. Then I got uncomfortable laying on the ground, so I miraculously regained control of my legs and managed to remove the door to the bedroom to lay on. Pretty solid mattress if you like yours firm. Before we moved from California, my wife wanted to see me get really high just once. She'll never make that mistake again. I literally was incapable of not talking. My ad brain was running at 200 miles per hour and the filter to my mouth was disengaged. Walked up to the bathroom mirror with a flashlight, shined it on my eyes and studied the color patterns of my eyes for about 20 minutes straight, and singing loudly at the same time. I played Rocket League and my sole purpose was to hit the other team's cars. Nothing else. Just commented this on another AskReddit post, but one time I was leaving California and was really high going through airport security. And when I was taking off my belt, I proceeded to unbutton my pants and almost pulled them down until I caught myself. TSA agent and I shared a good laugh. Peed with laptop in one hand in the dark, while watching a movie on the laptop. Did that like moments ago. Still high. Asterisk ate a bowl of cereal with heavy cream because I thought it was milk. I'm lactose intolerant. Asterisk poisoned myself accidentally by smoking out of the big Poland spring water container. The plastic melted. Asterisk put honey in my pubes so that I'd never go hungry again. Made a cup of tea with cold water and proceeded to put the entire concoction into the microwave. When I discovered that the door wouldn't close because the mug was too big, I tipped a bit of water from the mug and tried again. Me to my friend one time when I was high. Dude, I know exactly what you're thinking right now. Okay, what am I thinking? If someone rubs their face really hard, it looks like they are rubbing their skin off their face to make it into a mask. That was not what he was thinking. To this day I have no idea what came over me. The first time I got high, the first thing my friend asked me was, "How are you feeling?" And I just sat there for about 45 seconds thinking to myself, I'm just so relaxed, everything is so still, before I said to them, "Yo, I'm a plate." I had a very long conversation by a fire with some guy who was high on something, while I was high on something else. We were in that zone where he really needed someone to listen to him in order to hold it together. To this day I can't tell if he was talking absolute gibberish or I was just hearing gibberish. But I smiled and nodded for a very long time. The dumbest thing I've done while I was high was think my bowl of cereal was my phone and just toss the whole bowl, milk, cereal, spoon, onto my bed. That was a ducking mess. I smoked a lot in college. 1 4/20ths. My buddies and I rolled 12 Dutches together in what culminated to be a 30G blunt. The Super L lasted from 4:20 p.m. 6:30 p.m. We was high. I woke up the next morning with a pillow and blanket on a low branching tree outside of their place. I had found a nice niche where I wouldn't fall out, wasn't high enough to get hurt anyway, and snoozed for it how many hours. Don't remember the events leading up to it. But it was a good day. I miss college. Sad face. My friend's cat and I had the most deep conversation about life. Ever since we've had the utmost respect for each other. Set my voicemail message to "I'm so high right now." That's how my entire family learned I smoked weed. I was trying to set my voicemail box up, but gave up. Had a bunch of can butter with my roommate, and after 3 hours, it hadn't kicked in. So we walked to the discount grocery store. Of course, that's when it hit us hard. We ended up finding this massive bag of cheese puffs. I've never before or since seen a bag this big. And on the way back home we opened it up and started munching. Well, we passed a 24 hours fitness. The kind with wall-to-wall windows. and we couldn't fathom why anyone would want to work out over eating cheese puffs. We pressed ourselves in front of the windows, eating and mocking those inside until a worker came out and told us to leave. I ate an entire block of cheddar cheese, methodically slicing it and applying different condiment to every slice until it was all gone. Sriracha, honey, peanut butter, ketchup, barbecue sauce, every kind of mustard, ranch, Caesar, Vegemite, Frank Red Hot, curry paste, wasabi, soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, strawberry and raspberry jam, grape jelly, Miracle Whip and mayonnaise. That is literally everything. To this day my favorite snack is honey and sriracha on cheddar. Did 2CB at a festival. I hadn't eaten for 24 hours, so bought a beef burger from a food stand. Soon as I got it, I looked up at the sign to see a picture of a happy cow standing in a field. I handed the burger back and walked away without saying a word. In my early days of getting high, I lost my friends. Then I looked under the bed for them. Spoiler, they weren't there. Orders a pizza, was in no shape for driving. Then stared at the wall 10 minutes. Then thought, wow, I should get a pizza. Order. Stare, repeat, 3 times. Pizza number 1 shows up about 3 minutes after I ordered the 3rd. I was elated. And tipped the kid well for getting it to me so fast. Sat down to eat. Have a slice. Stare. Pizza number 2 arrives. I tell the girl it's a mistake. She shows me the order address. I start to reach the thought I ordered a 2 for 2 deal and the second was just late. Give her a few bucks for the trouble. Go back to pizza number 1. Leaving number 2 on the table by the door. Get up for a smoke, a drink, and head back to eat more. When pizza #3 arrives, I look at the kid, who turns out is my DN nephew, and say, dude, is this a joke? He explains he saw 3 pizzas orders at different times to my house and tells his boss he needs to deliver this last one to make sure my uncle is okay. He knew there were only 3 reasons this would happen, and 2 of them involved copious amounts of trees consumed. He got tipped with a pizza of his own, and a toke or 5. He was delivering on his way home. I called my mother and began telling her about my genius idea of replacing shoelaces with spaghetti strands that linked with each other. One of the first times I got high, I genuinely felt like I was the embodiment of a salamander. I kept trying to imitate a salamander, where I was probably just stretching my limbs with my tongue out, making strange sounds. Dennis bit straight into a mango. I feel like I knew something was off about it. But when I had a mouthful of mango skin, I was certain. Not me, but 2 of my friends took acid at my house. We sat in the yard around one of those elevated metal fire rings. Around midnight my wife and I went inside to bed. 7 a.m. I wake up, grab some coffee and open the back door. There they are with ash from the fire smeared all over their faces, methodically marching in a circle around the fire pit, trying to get all the ash from the fire to burn down small enough to fit into a small cup. When they noticed me they froze, eyes as white as soup bowls, and waited for me to speak. I just said, "Carry on," and turned around to head back to bed and read. They carried on.